Linda, of course, this news must have come as a surprise in that courtroom this morning.
Well, quite a surprise indeed, Shahan. What we were expecting this morning was that we were going to hear the last 2 days of the bail application of 27-year-old Vusi Mabasa as well as the 61-year-old Fita Kupe. But we learned just moments before court that Vusi Mabasa had taken his life in a Cape Town prison. What we understand was that he was taken from a Krugersdorp prison to Cape Town to further investigate what he was claiming, which was that he was kidnapped and led into a life of crime by people who has linked to Fita Kupe. But unfortunately, in this morning, we learned that he has taken his life, and he was identified to have died in a prison in Cape Town.
So the Independent Police Investigative Directorate is involved. That means there must be some suspicion about whether or not this was an actual suicide.
Well, one of the things that came out, in fact, when we were at the Lenasia Magistrates Court, Shahan, was that Vusi Mabasa was feeling threatened. In fact, he said that the second, applicant was the one who was threatening his life, and that is why they had to move them to different prisons. But there was a lot of things, there was a lot of bad blood between the two, particularly because the first suspect, which is Vusi Mabasa, who has now passed on, we understand, was the one implicating the second suspect. But moving on to that, in fact, I can tell you that Fita Kupe's lawyer wasted no time in actually saying that there is no case anymore, particularly because Vusi Mabasa would have to swear again, be put under oath and actually repeat his affidavit or his submissions towards the court that are implicating Fita Kupe. But let's just take a listen to what he said earlier in court.
Because at this stage, Your Worship, we are dealing with inadmissible evidence. The evidence that the state or the respondent wishes to tender at trial, Your Worship, is hearsay evidence. It's inadmissible evidence. So the state's case, or the respondent's case against the second applicant now, is significantly weakened, Your Worship. Actually, it's non-existent. Once we have determined and confirmed that the first applicant is in fact deceased, he's not going to repeat the contents of the confession, nor the contents of the bail affidavit, Your Worship.
Linda, just tell us what Mabaso's alleged role was in this crime and what impact does it now have on the outcome of this trial?
Well, his role, according to his affidavit, this was an affidavit confessing to the murders of the 7 members of the Khoza family in Vlakfontein. His role here was that he carried out all of these murders. He's saying that he was, of course, under instruction from Fita Kupe, but what he said when he described all of those murders was that each and every family member, particularly the older ones, the 3 older women, he hit them with a hammer in their head several times until they succumbed to those injuries. But of course the children, he said he put a pillow in their face and suffocated them sitting on top of the pillow until they died. But this was a confession from Vusi Mabasa, and then maintaining or implicating the second suspect, saying that he was the one that was instructing. And in fact, on the last day, on Sunday, when he was killing the last 2 people, he's saying that Fita Kupe was inside that house and was the one who was instructing him to kill, but before killing them, he instructed him to rape the 2, which he did. But he's saying that all of these were under instruction from the second suspect, who now remains the only person who will be standing in trial. As to whether that evidence from Vusi Mabasa will stand in court, it's something that remains to be seen. But his lawyer, Fita Kupe, is saying that Fita Kupe's lawyer rather is saying that that won't stand. It will be inadmissible.
All right, thanks so much for that. Appreciate it. Linda Kulu, our reporter following that story.